How are we doing? This is Martin from Gardens for Life. In this video I'm going to give you 5 of our reasons why we do no-dig gardening. No, gardening does not have to be chore or backbreaking work and with very little rewards. Actually, no-dig is perfect for beginners because it takes all of that away. Instead, you can spend your effort and your time harvesting and planting. If you're watching this on YouTube, please consider coming over to Odyssey, where we have a channel with over 170 videos now. I'll just take this opportunity to make a quick announcement. We are going to have a seed and plant swap. We're going to organise that in the Midlands of Ireland. Sometime around the second half of April. The date is not yet set in stone, but we will let you know. If you are interested, please let us know in the comments below as well. And subscribe to our email list to find out more when it's time to sign up. I'll see you then. Reason number 1 why we practice no-dig gardening is because you will expose all of the old weed seeds to the surface and they will germinate, even the ones that are up to 100 years old. So there's no point in exposing them. Simply smother them instead. Smother the existing vegetation and turn it into fertility. Just that alone actually reduces the weed pressure by 95%, and you can spend way more time planting and harvesting and enjoying the garden too. The only thing you'll have to deal with is actually airborne seeds, for example grass seeds in the middle of the summer and other weeds, I suppose, or unwanted plants I should call them. But they're super easy to pull up and I'll show you that now. Even the likes of grasses are actually really easy to pull up. And you'll find that's where we get into reason number 2, because the soil is really soft and malleable. So as you can see here, I don't even need gardening tools. You might use a rake to move material around. Look, this is a thistle. Look how easy that is to pull up. That makes the weeding, what little there is of it, actually much easier, and it'll consume so much less time and effort. And when you have malleable soil, a very soft soil or growing medium for your plants to grow into in your no-dig garden beds, you can be guaranteed that the plants will actually expand their roots much faster rather than in compacted clay. Fast growing plants are healthy because they're able to expand their root systems and take up more nutrients quickly, and they're able to succumb to pest pressures such as slugs. Because slugs are mostly interested in plants that have their defenses down, aka stressed plants, for example. Plants that aren't doing too well usually get attacked first by the slugs, and your plants can outperform the slugs, believe it or not. And we've been not worried about slugs at all for the last few years since we've been using no-dig. Reason number 3, if you have less maintenance in your garden, you can spend more time enjoying it, but also you can spend more time expanding your garden if you have space to do so. And I'll show you a bit of that here. You can see here we've been actually putting down plastic about since the summer last year. We just removed it after about 6 months, and you can see here this was the existing vegetation, and the grasses are well smothered. Even the perennial weeds I don't think will come back. As you can see here, this bit here was exposed slightly and the grasses are kind of coming back a little bit, but once you pour a bit of compost on top, they'll be okay. So we're going to cover this with compost and make more garden beds. Reason number 4 is keep your existing soil structure, because if you dig the ground or if you plow, you totally destroy all existing soil structure, including worm tunnels and all of the elevator shafts that were left by taprooted plants such as thistles and dandelions, for example. Did you know that dandelions apparently actually have a taproot that goes as far as 4 meters down into the ground? And once the dandelion plant or any taprooted plant dies off eventually, the soil life actually uses that as an elevator shaft, so to speak, to travel between the different layers of soil and bring in fertility, and also giving more drainage to the soil as well. So keeping existing soil structure is really important. I don't even want to plough the first time. Some people do, and I respect that, and I see the benefits of it. However, I prefer smothering the existing vegetation from above and keeping the soil structure intact, so that I have all of those worm tunnels and all of those taprooted plants that have left elevator shafts to help drain the land and keep the soil life, bringing in fertility. And of course, the second you add compost on top as a top layer, as a dressing if you want to call it that, or a mulch on top of the smothered vegetation, you can be guaranteed that the soil life will actually populate that layer of compost very quickly, and worms actually will also integrate the native soil with your layer of supercharged fertility in the form of compost. So you're going to get all the benefits, and we usually see our compost or our no-dig beds being completely inhabited by all forms of soil life, including earthworms and beetles and all of the microscopic creatures too, within a matter of only about 2 months. And that goes to show that the compost we use is actually really good for the biology. Here's an example of our laid-back approach to gardening. So instead of fighting nature and trying to make sure that all of the beds are perfectly straight and in line and all the plants are planted at the right distance, we basically just let this red Russian kale self-seed for the last 2 years. And we might remove 1 or 2 of those plants that are on the elephant garlic bed right here. But in general, we don't mind if it goes to seed again this year, and that way we don't have to actually maintain it at all, because we can harvest some of the seed, and whatever seed falls on the ground, we can just let those plants develop for the next season. And all in all, well, there you go. We've had to put in as little as 5 minutes worth of work for the last 2 years into this red Russian kale patch. And what beautiful kale it is. And we've been eating it, and we've been giving some of it to the chickens, keeping them healthy too. And of course that benefit comes through the eggs too when we eat them. And here's another reason why it's good to do no-dig gardening. I'm sure there's many more, but we'll just cover 5 in this video. No-dig garden beds are actually really easy to manage, because even when you don't want to use them, the fertility is always there. It's like a long-term storage for fertility, but also you can actually just cover the beds in plastic during the winter months if you wish so. That way you'll come up, you can actually just start using them immediately when you're ready in the springtime. We don't cover our beds because we prefer a more natural approach. As you can see in the background here, there is a few weeds growing here, but this garden is still in establishment at the moment. This was only actually created last September and August. So this time of year we are just renewing our garden beds. We're just adding a little bit of a layer of mulch, and you can always do that with no-dig beds. You can add fertility and feed the soil life, and the vegetables are only a byproduct. And you can see here the paths are made of wood chips, and those are also really easy to maintain, and you'll never have dirty feet, and you can always step across garden beds just like that, because we make them deliberately 2.5 feet or 75 centimeters wide. Make it easier on us. No-dig garden beds are clean, fertile, long-term storage of fertility, good for your plants and not so good for the other plants that are not so desirable, aka the grasses or the weeds. If you liked the video, please give us a thumbs up. We'd highly appreciate it. And if you're interested in any of our tubers or cuttings or anything that we have for sale. We have a range of things available on our online shop. Your support is highly appreciated. Thanks a million, and I'll see you at the next one.